Well guys, welcome to another video. Hope you can hear me clearly enough. Got waterfalls going in the background. There's an aeroplane droning overhead, and yeah, why should that stop us in any case, right? What we're going to have a quick look at today is what I've been having a look at for quite a while now. Been on a lot of groups, a lot of discussion points. It might look easy, but it's a little bit complicated as well, and that is solar power, obviously. And we're not doing this basically for the cost. It's basically convenience. If you're overlanding, if you're traveling in your camper van, if you're far from any electricity supply, it's quite handy to have something you just plug everything into and you're away. The trouble with that is it is quite complicated because you need a lot of solar panels, first of all, and then you need cables, you need a solar controller, otherwise it doesn't work. You need a battery, or maybe 2 or 3 or 4. And from your battery, you need a converter as well, which is quite a complicated thing. It runs into the money, obviously, if that's important to you. And it gets quite complicated to try and understand how much power do you really need. A good rule of thumb is volts times amps is watts, something to that effect. So if you look at 230 volt standard times 4 amps, that's 1,000 watts. If that works out for you, you can kind of work that out. If you go to a campsite and you get a hookup, you normally get 4 amps or 6 amps, maybe 10 amps. And that'll give you an idea that if you plug in something that pulls 1,000 watts, if you put your microwave on and your aircon, it's not going to work. It's going to trip. And yeah, trust me, I know about all of that. So if you use that as a kind of a baseline, that's quite handy to have. The other side is if you work out how much your appliances need. If you have a fridge, lights, normally LED, doesn't draw much. A laptop uses quite a bit of power. Charging your phone, your iPad, charging a little torch, your Bluetooth speaker, all of that stuff, that all adds up. Like a fridge, a camping fridge will draw about 25 watts. Peak obviously is a bit more, it's about 10 times. That'll draw for like a split second 250 watts, and that'll go down to 25. It obviously doesn't run all day. Your laptop draws about 40 watts, more than a fridge. Would you believe that? Also, it doesn't run all day because it does get full at a certain point and stops charging. Your fridge it gets cold enough and the thermostat cycles it off. So it doesn't run continually. But the point about that is how many watt hours do you need? And what does that mean? How long can you run a 50 watt fridge? If you have a 500 watt hour battery portable pack, that's about 10 hours, right? How long can you charge your phone for, which draws about 5 watts off a 500 watt hour battery pack? Maybe 100 hours continually, kind of that kind of thing. So it kind of pays to work out how much you need, how much solar you need to charge it. Because solar, as you can see, it's getting towards late afternoon. You don't have 12 hours of sun per day. You might have 5, you might have 4. In winter, the sun's very low. And that means the strength of the solar energy coming into your solar panels is not as strong as in summer when it's peak right above your head. That makes a big difference as well. So consider how many solar panels you need. Sometimes a 100 watt panel can pull in roughly 6 amps of power continually with perfect sun for about 4 hours. So now you've pulled in 400 watt hours in 4 hours time. Will that be enough to service your fridge and your laptops and your Wi-Fi connection and your phones and your lighting? Maybe you cook on that as well. Maybe you have a toaster and all of that. So think about those things as well. Before you even start anything else, you got to work out how much you need with power consumption. That gets complicated too. You can overdo your batteries or overdo your solar panels as well. And there are plenty of forums out there to work that all out. You need a charge controller as well, which kind of runs the incoming power, because when a battery starts getting full, it starts lowering the amount of power it can absorb, which means if you think your battery can pull in 500 watts at one time, by the time it gets to 95% full, it's going to step down to about 100, maybe even 50 watts, and slowly cycle full, because it doesn't want to go full on and then off, full on and off. But it all does that automatically. That's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to monitor it as well and think about that with your calculations of how many watts you really need. So what I'm here to tell you, as you've seen in the background, is this bad boy here. So this guy is a portable solar power pack, as they call solar. I don't know what that means. It's not solar. It needs a solar panel. What it is, it's all in one. Basically takes all of the guesswork out of all of it. This is one from Fossibot. I don't know if you've seen my other video. We've had this for about 3 or 4 years now. It's a fantastic little unit. It's quite small. It's only 800 watts max draw, and it's a 512 hour maximum storage, which is roughly half of what a 100 watt lithium battery would do. It's also lithium, of course, but what this does for you, it does all the thinking out. It takes it all out of it. You can see how much you're drawing out of each separate unit, each appliance, your fridge, your laptops, your phones, whatever you need. You can see how much you're coming in from the solar panel, which is also quite nice, and it's an instant converter to 230 volts. All done and dusted. What this one also does, it's a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply, which in some countries, and I don't know if you know, they have blackouts from electricity. Sometimes they're even scheduled because there's not enough capacity for the whole grid. So they switch off certain areas at certain times of day, and it's probably a daily occurrence. And you might think, oh, big deal, but sometimes it is because you're busy working, you're online, you're Zoom calling with your company, whatever it is, and suddenly your house loses power, and what now? Well, this thing kind of takes the brains out of that too. You plug it into the wall socket, and then you plug your appliances into here, and as soon as the power trips there, it just continues because it's working off the battery as well. What you also need here is a solar panel, and what we've got here is a portable, flexible one, which is pretty cool because they've come on in leaps and bounds in the last, let's say, 3-4 years. This is a 110 watt one. These ones were given to me a long time ago. We've been using them for a long time, so I feel I'm more confident to tell you what they are like or how they work. What we can do is turn this on. So there we go. We got the incoming wattage, outgoing wattage. We've got USB ports. We've even got the old-fashioned, if you have those old camping fridges with one of the cigarette lighter plugs, that's in there as well. Got a little light as well, which is pretty cool. Do an SOS thing. What it does do, as I said, 220 volt here, which is pretty cool. This one is a European style plug. And on this side, you have the incoming. Obviously, you've got your 230 volts. They'll give you a cable for that. And what I'm going to do here is take out our little solar panel, give you a quick demo, because this solar panel comes with this already standard, which is pretty cool. That happens to fit in here. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually hardly pulling anything at all, but it is a little bit. 11 watts. That's because our panel is half in the shade. The sun is actually off my right shoulder, and this is basically 95% full. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is plug and play, off you go, and you've got a readout to check what your systems are doing. If you have a solar controller, sometimes these are hidden away in your camping setup, in your 4x4, in your van or whatever, and you can't read it. Or you need a Bluetooth one, which is pretty handy, which I do have on here, which shows the state of charge for the lithium battery, the big one, which we have solar panels on the roof charging those ones. So that's pretty handy to have, but then you're cycling your Bluetooth continually between your Bluetooth speaker, between your earphones and your solar controller, which is also a little bit of a juggle. If you don't mind that kind of thing, not a big deal. I kind of like plug and play. This is really cool. Charges instantly. The charge controller is already in there. That's the MHPOWOS. Don't ask me about all these names. It does work. It is flexible. It's light. It's hardly 2 kilograms. It's super thin, and that fits in your car and our Landy at the moment. This one fits in the back as well. Carry it. Nice big carry handle, which is quite handy. And you can track your usage, which is the most important thing for me, which I find rather interesting. So this one, as I said, is only 800 watts. It's a small one. It's a couple of years old now. We've moved on. Storage has become bigger. Your solar panels have become bigger and more efficient. Also double charging, which is really cool. It's all gone very fast. The prices have come down as well from, let's say, 5 years ago. This is only 800 watts, which means 800 watts peak power draw. Can it run an angle grinder? Well, I think that's a good question as well. I'm going to try and find that out as well. 230 volt angle grinder, we'll plug it in, see if it works. So there you go, guys. This is very easy. I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown because it can be confusing. There's a lot of conflicting information. A lot of people say it's easy, don't worry about it. Others say, no, don't, you can't do that. Worry about your batteries. These days, lithium is the one to go for. It's got a battery management system on board, which is all done for you. Don't have to worry about anything. It can do hot and cold. It'll switch off automatically after that. And these little things, it's portable, it's functional, it does everything you need, it's instant, and it's like a plug and play, no-brainer. So that's all I wanted to say is, get yourself a little solar panel like that, get yourself one of these, and you're off to the races. So there you go. I'll leave a link down below for all of these products. There are other videos too about camping and travel gear tech, if that's your game. All kinds of things. Half of it I've actually bought myself, done a video on it, so I'm not biased. The other half have been donated. I've done an intro video, and then I'm coming back to all of those now after a couple of years. How have they held up? I'm really impressed with this one, and with the solar panel over there, which is a lot more compact, portable, easy to use. Fold it open, plug it in, and you're gone. So that's a bonus as well. There you go. Hopefully this has made a little bit of sense to you. Hopefully it's been a bit informative. If you have other ideas on it, let me know down below. If you have other information for people watching this video, maybe that will help them. It'd be really nice to have your comments down below. Maybe start a discussion or drop what you have experienced yourself with your solar panels as well. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching this one. Nice little solar array here. Summer is on its way, which means we can draw even more power as we go along, as we travel and see the world. And we're always plugged in so that we can film this stuff, because I'm charging the camera battery on this as well. And my Wi-Fi through my phone also needs a little bit of power. And by the way, you need a fridge too, because you need to keep stuff cool and keep a cool head. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching this one. Hope it was informative. Catch you on the next one, and keep rolling.